You know what really burns my spuds is poisonous potatoes. There is nothing that we can do with them, there's no use for them whatsoever, and they've been in the game for exactly, well, forever. I mean, like, Mojang, what are we doing with poisonous potatoes? We can't even make potions, we can't even compost them, we can't even replant them, like, they can't even be used as like a decorative block unless you put them in an item frame. Do better, Mojang. Well, now things are a little bit different for me. I am all out of diamonds, I'm waiting for cheese to pay me, and I need to do some mining, and this land over here and the enchanted forest that'll soon be under construction, I need to make myself a diamond mine, which needs to have a nice entrance, and I figured that the plans for this season, this whole area down over this way, so basically everything in this valley over here is going to be like the town area where like all of our workshops, our buildings, our like blacksmith and everything, where all the fairies live and work and do all the cool things. And then just over here is just basically going to be the entrance to the forest. It's like the very beginning, like the beachfront area that just starts to get into it. This area right here is going to hold the massive life tree that's going to stand hundreds of blocks tall, and this is going to be like the working district area slash living will be probably more over this way with some like docks and stuff, and same thing with over in this direction, maybe like farmland and stuff would be over this way. But we need to get going at actually starting the layout of everything over here. So this little spot right here, I'm thinking is going to be very perfect for a mine entrance with a shop. Well, not really a shop, but just like the building to kind of make it look like a shop, for like the rest of the folks knowing like, hey, this is where you come to get all of your resources and everything, and then like down the road or something, or maybe like next to it up on this hill or across the road, that'll kind of be in this general area. There's going to be a blacksmith somewhere, toolsmith, all kinds of good things. But that means I need to start getting resources, planning out the build and everything, and, well, getting it going. Well, now that the actual entrance to the city within the Enchanted Forest is done, the pathway is a bit different than what I started out way over there by the shipwreck and where the nether portal is. And I'm thinking I'm going to change it up for more of this, and I got to swap out some of these path blocks for rooted dirt. But anyway, look at this. This is the entrance to our mine shaft. That is, what is the start of the village within the Enchanted Forest? And then there's a little entrance with the beautiful leaves going over, and look at all of these new leaves in different variants. Oh, the tall and short dry grass, the firefly bushes, the leaf litter, and regular bushes. Oh, it's going to make terraforming projects so much nicer. And the plan for around here, which, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, is going to be an elevated platform that leads up to little tiny pop-up huts, because I set up this little farm that I can easily harvest up all of the new bushes. But before we go even further, I'm going to show you that I've spent quite a lot of time traveling around, collecting up all of these bushes and everything, going to different locations, and then figuring that I might as well set up a little pop-up shop just in case that somebody didn't want to go out and find the firefly bushes, so I just quickly threw one up real quick. And I also ran into Babs's new gambling shop, which, well, I'll show you how it went.
What did you got? I mean, it's not the baddest one.
It's not bad. So yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a gamble, but it's nice stuff. There's some good chances in there, and like, yeah, I got quite a bit of tough, a couple deep slate, and you know, a stack. It is a stack. Yep, yeah, a stack of redstone ore. I also did finally get an elytra and spent quite a few diamonds on getting rockets. Yeah, I'm a broke guy. I need to get with Cheese because we did finish up the project for her terraforming thing. And speaking of profits, let's just see. Ooh, we made 4 diamonds so far. Yeah, there's quite a bit of stock still left in there. But let's see if anybody else has made any bids on my terraforming shop and needs me to do some consultations to do some quotes. Nope. Just Cheese. So we're over here at Cheese's base because I need to drop off the invoice for the job that I completed for her, and the invoice states, "Good day, Cheese. The requested services you have asked for is complete. This did indeed take me quite some time, more than the original time I quoted you. We discussed the price to be 20 to 40 diamonds. Since you are a first-time customer, I will give you a 20% discount and make your bill only 30 diamonds. However, I would like it if you could help spread the word for my business so that way I can continue to get clients in hopes one day I can get a contract with the city to start breaking ground on the shopping district island. There are a lot of fees and permits that I have to cover in order to even lay down my shovel on the shopping district. So please help get the word out, and I hope you request services from me again. Have a good day. Q." And there's a fourth page, but I'm going to leave that up to Cheese to show you guys, which of course you guys need to go check out her stuff too. Link in the first episode of the series, which if you are new to this, make sure to check out the beginning of the series and see where things have unfolded and where we are today. And if you're also new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because there's more to come. This isn't going anywhere at all. So now it is time to put it here in the chest. Well, the barrel, actually, with the sign that says "Open me or else ... They're supposed to do 3 dots or 2 dots? 3 dots. We're going to do 3 dots just because I don't know why, but she has a pet peeve about the whole dot thing, and I'm just going to really add on to it. Now, the thing about storage is it's always a big hiccup. It's always a pain, but you know, it's something that every Minecrafter needs to tackle. And honestly, this is really getting out of hand. I just have rows of chests full of random garbage and bits, and actually most of this is from the terraforming project over at Cheese's place way over there. And since now that I've finally figured out where the start of the whole city is going to be, I figured that it is time to actually start designing a warehouse to basically hold all of my resources, one general location, in this sense, kind of like where everything's gonna be. This whole entire village, I want to make sure that I got different things for different areas, for different like necessary things. Like we got the mine shaft here, and we're going to have like a couple of like little pop-up lean-tos around the outside of it just to kind of fill in that space with all the different little bush farms for all the new bushes and all that good jazz. The river that I dug out in the last episode, well, we need to finish that up and we need to polish it, and that's maybe a live stream thing. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I know where the river is and how I want it to look and the sense of that, but I got to slope the other side, slope this side, and actually make it beautiful. But what we're going to end up doing today is figuring out, well, adding more on to what we did here, there, and this little road here. That, yeah, I need to figure out a good spot for the warehouse. It needs to be a centralized location. It's got to be big enough to hold all of my resources, and I got to come up with a design for it as well. What I am thinking is that I need to spend some time on the creative server and designing a couple of options, I should say, for actually the big warehouse. Also, now that it's nighttime and Babs isn't sleeping right now, this is a perfect time to show you guys this. Like, yeah, the lanterns give a little bit of a glow, but all the firefly bushes, oh, they're every terraformer's dream. And if you listen really closely, I don't know if you can hear it, but I mean, I can hear it. And I'll try to turn it up in post, but it's so nice. I love this. I love the new grass, the tall and short dry grass, the firefly bushes, and the regular bushes. Oh, it adds more than just having a bunch of random big blocky leaves at all. It just adds some more depth, and the leaf litter, it's just amazing. But enough talking. I got to figure out a warehouse design, and I got to, figure all of that out. Oh, what have I got myself into? After many, many hours of working on multiple different designs in a creative test world, I've finally come up with a design for our storage barn. Now here's the twist. I did say that I was going to have one massive storage barn for all of my items. Well, that changed rather quickly because I want this custom town to be lively and have meaning to explore it all and not just hit the tourist attractions. Needless to say, I have decided to have multiple storage barns near a workshop that is dedicated to that storage barn. If I need stone-related items, I head over to the mineshaft hut. If I need wood-related items, I head over to the lumberyard. So on and so on. I really like the idea of this custom town becoming lively to have a reason to stop and smell those beautiful flowers, especially those new firefly bushes in the 1.21.5 update. And if you like the idea as well, make sure you hit that like button. And if you don't want to miss out on the adventure of building up this beautiful custom town, make sure to hit subscribe. That is, if you aren't already. Well, that definitely took some time out of my day to actually get the storage barn up and going, which also added in this beautiful pathway to Wapow. Look at that. It fits into the theme. We're going with this theme of like the strip, like kind of like decayed kind of looking, like weathered texture, oak and strip with the mossy roof with the overgrown aspect to it. I still need to add in a row of chests up here, which which just means I gotta like destroy the floor of the upper level here in order to place down these chests, or if I'm smart enough that I can just access it through the trapdoors. This here is the storage barn for the stone. We are located right next here to the actual mine shaft. So I figured that, you know, this is a good spot for the stone storage. Everything from all the things that I get from strip mining and everything down underground will be placed in here, which means I need to, well, actually spend the time to relocate everything into here. And I've been a busy bee over here as well. Because as you can see, instead of just the one farm, I set up multiple farms for all the new bushes. The reason for this bridge here is because in order to get the short grass, you need to bone meal it onto a block next to it. And then you hit it with silk touch or shears, and then it plops down in here into the hopper and then ends up in the chest. Same thing here for the tall grass. You need to bone meal it once, it'll make the short grass, but then you got to bone meal it a second time to make the tall grass. And again, hitting it with a silk touch is what we got to do. And then we'll get the tall grass like that. And then these flowers, the dandelion flowers here that they, the wild flowers, even though they look like dandelions. All you got to do is just bone meal it like the rose petals from the cherry blossoms. And then for the firefly bushes is just the simple of breaking it regardless. Silk touch shears or just your bare hand. So I have a piston set up right there. And which I mean, do have, you know, this barrel was originally for the stock and I altered this one farm to do all of these, but I figured, hey, why not actually set up multiple different little huts just for the excuse to have a cool little lean-to looking thing, which I'm thinking that we can kind of design together. I'm thinking in the same sense of the block palette going on with the oak, the birch, and the diorite, the dark oak, and the moss. Thinking kind of like your typical kind of like horse stable looking thing, just like a lean-to, very open in the center. And in order to activate these farms, I got to hit these levers and then it'll work. Got to stand far enough back so that way I can actually mine it. And that's why there's this little connecting bridge right here, which that also needs a design. Maybe I'll throw in some random barrels, kind of like to add like extra storage, just so that way I can like hop up onto here and then I can access the lever from behind. And I'm also going to need access to all of these dispensers, which I'm thinking I need to remove this one particular block so that way I can get down here and throw the bone meal in. That is going to be an issue, is bone meal. I don't really have the diamonds to keep buying the bone meal needed to run these farms because it does take up a lot of bone meal just to run these farms. By having this big weight field over here and slowly over time converting mud into packed mud, I have been able to gather up seeds and just throw them right here into your basic bone meal setup with just a little over 4 stacks of bone meal. But that's not going to cut it. And yeah, part of getting storage under control is because this was getting out of hand, and then of course getting my hands on shulker boxes, it's just expanded into even worse of everything, and nothing is like organized. So keeping in mind that I need to have access back here to activate the levers and be able to refill the dispensers of bone meal, need to keep that in mind while also keeping the concept open, but also kind of hiding these ugly redstone farms. So I'm thinking, I don't know how well this is going to do, like actually like live commentary, but if we did something to the effects of this, doing 3 wide there, 2, and then 2. This is the thing about designing the beautifications after and not having things actually lined up of any sense to work with natural numbers. This one is probably going to be inset just a little bit because if I bring it back, it's going to conflict with the stone storage barn. So essentially this is going to be kind of like the layout. And now I just need to kind of get the pillars set up. So then I'll be able to run across and connect them all up and kind of see what we can do with that. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, this is kind of like taking shape, but it really isn't at the same time. And well, to be honest with you, it's okay. It's all part of the process of getting things just kind of figured out. I'm thinking that I can just actually run the logs across the top there and kind of remove the glass I think it'll be okay. Because the point of just this glass box here is just to try to keep things contained as possible while the machines are, of course, operating. You have anything good? Of invisibility, nautilus shell, rooted dirt, but I don't have any emeralds actually on me. Maybe I actually should go up one more to kind of match. I don't really want it to match with anything, though. That's the issue. Let's start laying in some of the supports that go across to see how it's going to turn out and how it's actually going to end up looking. This one's going to have to come out one more, though. And if we slap in some trapdoors here just to give it a little bit more of an organic curve. The thing is with this design, I need to be able to hit that plant when it grows, hit that bush when it grows up with the silk touch. And the same thing of having access back here. So maybe these blocks can actually change out for something different. Like maybe just doing some spruce slabs, trapdoors, because you can go underneath them. And then potentially if we, on the whim here, we craft up just a couple of barrels, we'll be able to get up here and then we can hit that one, stand over here, we can hit that one. But the issue that we're going to run into is that one. Unless we potentially make one more barrel, we slap it here. Can I? No, I can't because of this stair. So what if I throw a barrel in there? And then if I do one of these little things, that could I could potentially end up breaking the glass. So with this section here, because I want to be able to have access going into the back, and I'll have access to back there, but this one here, what we can do is actually set up some doors, which means just to save myself some time. Knowing that the flooring is going to be the coarse dirt, might as well throw it in now, and I'm just going to make up some spruce doors. If we do something to the effects of that, yeah, that's looking good. However, I'm not liking this over here, so that needs to change. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on here, so let me get the flooring in, and then we'll bring it right back. Well, I know that I said I was going to bring it back once I had the pathway kind of put into place. However, I kind of got sidetracked. And by sidetracked, I mean I put on a podcast and was just chilling and just kind of went to work here. I actually had to shift this whole thing over 5 blocks to the left, so that way I could get all of the farms put into place here, and so that way once I did the roof design, it wasn't going to conflict with our stone storage barn. I have to say, this area is really coming together. I mean, it's just crazy to think that it just started out with this mineshaft hut and a little bit of a path, but now we got the storage barn, and we have the farms located over here for all the new bushes. And it's got some quaint, cute looking decorations just to make it feel a little bit more lively. And it makes you want to actually walk, take those wings off, and just enjoy walking through the scenery here. Plus, of course, running these farms and getting all the different bushes and the tall and dry grass, it's just natural to have to place them in here randomly to make it look a little bit nicer. Now, as far as organization, I can easily pop in through the window and be like, okay, cool, it's for the tall, dry grass here, but also in front of each of the barrels, which is kind of like an overflow eventually. Like once these chests do get full, then it just kind of like worked out in that, and it also kind of saved me some space of designing the windows and making it just look nice. But coming back into here is where all of the contraptions are going and how it's all running. So if I need to fill it up with bone meal and everything, I just come back here, I throw it into the dispensers, and then I flick the lever and I do what it needs to do. So basically, whenever I need to use these farms, I have to go inside, which was the whole purpose of making sure there was access behind here. And I'm loving this roof design of having the moss and then having like the vines and the branches and stuff growing over the roof and just having your random spurts of bone meal across it, just to give it that more natural look to it. I've spent quite a long time over here, and it's been a minute since I've been over to the shopping district, and I need to check things out to see if anybody else has actually put in a bid for my terraforming services, and maybe other people have bought some of the firefly bushes, and soon, once I get my hands on more diamonds and get more bone meal, I will be adding more to the little pop-up shop, and it may not be temporarily as we have originally thought. Oh, we made 3 more sales of the firefly bushes. That's nice. Now let's just check to see if anybody put any bids in. Babs, make my shop look good from the terraforming stuff you just make good, bro. Well, his grammar is definitely not on par. Which we need to work on that with him. But I'm assuming it's the mud shop that is, yeah, kind of just floating there in the air. So from the looks of the mud shop that Babs has recently constructed, it is quite a ways off the ground, which means I need to come up with some ideas and designs of how it's going to turn out. Now, the real question is what does Babs really want? He said to make it look good, but with it being so high up off the ground, it almost kind of makes sense to put it on like a little mountain or like it's sitting on a boulder, basically. Maybe some waterfalls, maybe some custom trees and stuff. This is probably going to be a very expensive job. His prices seem to not be too bad. Well, a lot of people are buying the packed mud, 2 diamonds per stack, a diamond per stack of the muddy mangrove roots and regular mud. So with all of this being said, the enchanted forest is on its way. I am getting such good feelings for this. I can't wait for it to actually be up and going and have all of our different little things going on in there. That's all the time that I got for this episode. Remember, if you want to stay tuned and keep following along with the adventure, make sure to comment, subscribe, and even like the video because it does help. And you know what? Just do it.